This is deja vu for me.
I'm the
It's
only
like the
one coming.
Kodaikanal trip. Now
And
let's recruit some people.
I'm gonna get
Arun, we need your genius, man.
I
Again.
know, please, man.
No,
Please help out here.
I only went to people who are willing to convince others.
We need Mama to step up now. Come on, Mama.
पुरानी जीन्स और गिटार, मोहल्ले की वो छत और मेरे यार, वो रातों को जागना, सुबह घर जाना, कूद के दीवार, वो सिगरेट पीना, गली में जाके, वो करना दांतों को घड़ी घड़ी सा, पहुंचना कॉलेज हमेशा ले, वो कहना सर का get out from the class, वो बाहर जाके हमेशा कहना यहाँ का सिस्टम.
I'll just kick it off. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of our podcast for REConnect, now with the ECE gang. So, we're all excited to be here. Great to see all of you after 25 years. And I think we'll kick off our journey with one of the first questions. What are some of your earliest memories from ECE as you came into REC?
Okay, I think memory was electromagnetics by NK. Until then, there was a direct correlation between what you think you understood in class versus what you got in your exam paper, and that correlation was completely broken. Okay, when we saw the final exam results.
So on that note, I have a remembrance. So the first exam, EC exam, where we all flunked, right? So somehow I remember that some of us were standing outside NK's class to get the marks, and everyone was going in, and I could hear NK laughing and typical, right? And all the students coming out crying almost. And I was like, what the heck is going wrong? This is very unusual to me. Like, what? And then I think it was Preeti or someone else was in front of me, and the person went in, came out literally crying. And I was like, I'm not going in. I just ran off. I didn't even go in. Like, this is not, I'm going to be torturing myself too. But yes, you're right. The torture went on for more than that. It was not that just one exam.
I think that's the first time I got to know about the curving, right? They have to curve the scores. Only then you can get close to 30.
No,
Otherwise,
somebody
everyone
broke the
flunks.
curve. That guy is
Yeah,
not
they
there
didn't.
yet.
Yeah, he didn't do curving, right? So Dinesh,
Somebody
what he
broke
used
the
to
curve
do.
and he got beaten up for that. And he's not here.
Yeah.
Bansal.
Bansal.
Yes.
I mean, I used to beg
Bansal.
him, dude, why are you studying? You're just spoiling 49 other students' career.
Amazing. Looks like
So he
Deva and
used
I were in a
to-
different world. But
Yeah, so NK used to simply add, right? So what he would do is he'll take the maximum marks. If it's 25 out of 30, he will add 5 to everyone. Isn't that? I think that's what he used to do.
Exactly.
That's how we probably passed.
yeah,
Otherwise, there was no.
I know.
I still remember that book and everything, which is kind of strange that after all these years, that David Griffith's Introduction to Electrodynamics, there was a good book. To be honest, I enjoyed the book, but
remember.
the exams were
Amazing.
horrible. Yeah.
I think one of my first, contrary to all the horror that waited for us, right, in the subsequent year, my first memory of EC was somehow very nice. Right? The reason is, I mean, in the first year, I was kind of tired of doing all that smithy, foundry, all those scrap things we did. And that somehow made me think, this is not what I signed up for, right? And when EC came, right, there's this nice little things like diode, triodes, transistor. I somehow said, these are good things, right? These are easier to handle. That's somehow, my first memory of EC department.
Yeah, amazing. Mine was around the math. I always thought I was good at math before I came to
HT's class?
Yeah, and then I realized, this is there's no numbers in it anymore. It's all x, y, integral, dy, whatever. So that was fun to math. I don't know. I mean, I eventually caught up, I think, and I passed somehow. But I guess that was a eye opener and told me that, okay, you might have to survive these 3 years and find something where you can really work out. So I guess that's been the journey when I moved away from ECE into software eventually and kind of lived my life here. But Anu, Chandrika, Arjun, Mukund, you guys haven't shared any memories
Yeah,
yet?
let the
Please go
ladies
ahead.
go.
I think wasn't our first year classes also in the same building? So I feel like we
Yes.
had a soft transition from like first to second
Second.
year,
Yeah.
like going from like the generic class to EC. I think my memories are, actually first going up to those upper levels, because I don't think I ever did that in first year. So going up and kind of seeing, I think there was a level where all the faculty was
Right.
across the college, and then going in like the classroom. So I think that's kind of what stands out to me. But I feel like it was a soft transition from first to second. So some of that's a little munched for me.
I don't know if you all recall, but the girls used to be on the first bench, like the first row, and all the boys behind. And there were, of course, some first benchers on the other side. And now I look back at those pictures, I'm like, what were we thinking? Like, I've never been a first rower. I've always been a backbencher. And I was asking, actually, I was like, what were we smoking? Because why were we on that?
I don't think it was by choice.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably.
I don't think you didn't have a choice in that matter.
The
You had to
backbenches
sit
were
in-
already
yes.
occupied.
Yeah, exactly.
It was risky to go beyond the first bench.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Deba and I were always
Farzana.
comfortable in the back
Chandrika and
section.
I would be on one end, and then Farzana and Preeti, and NK would be asking questions, and they'd be firing off responses all the way. And Chandu and I will be like, wait, where are we?
What happened here?
I remember NK questioning Chandrika. Arun remembers this. This was in the third semester. We had EM joint with ICE. We attended this class with ICE as well. It turned out they were even worse than us. But I remember in the whole class, NK is asking Chandrika questions, and she's standing up. The entire class is silent, and she's like, "I don't know."
I don't know why.
After
go
that
ahead.
third semester, she was his favorite. I think he would continue to ask her questions, I think, throughout our entire thing, because he just, I don't know, he picked on her that one time and it continued.
Okay, so see, for me, first year was a very humbling experience because, I was a school topper, coming from where I was coming, and then here I see all these brainy guys, and I'm like totally grounded. I'm trying to figure out how do I, make my way, and then for me, like RC's classes were like, that was just mind-blowing to me, like circuits. And I had always played with like all these, going back to Debas, right? Like comments about like diodes and resistors and capacitors. I had always loved them. I used to carry a suitcase of those, but then, I would just like look at some picture, assemble the circuits, and then he just totally changed the game for me. Like he just broke it down. It's like, I was looking at this very complicated Lego system, and then he broke it down block by block. How do you construct? So I was like in amazement in that class. My memory is vague. I don't even remember which semester it was, but that's the one distinct memory of like just being awed and amazed by the professor. Everybody talks about NK, but for me, RC's is the beautiful memory of ECE.
I agree. NK was the horror side of it, and
Yeah,
RC was
exactly.
the better side of it. I mean, I'm sure I'm speaking for all of you. It was one of the best experiences with RC.
I think RC was the one with the lab, right? That we did the lab for amplifiers and stuff. Because I still remember first time like amplifier wasn't working. Then he said, "Who's gonna give power? Lord Krishna, you have to turn on the power." So that's how we got the power. Okay.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, I remember the very first lab. He came to the class and so his approach was great, right? So he would teach a lecture and then immediately a lab will follow and we have to implement what he taught in the class. But we have to give all the parts the previous evening. And he did mention it in the class and none of us did it. And we were the first batch, right? Especially I remember Arjun, me, and I believe Aarti was there initially. Then it was like 2, right? Initially it used to be 3, I think, in the batch. So Artiyani,
It
Arjun
was
Bharadwaj.
Karthik Ramakrishnan in the third year. I think Arti in the fourth semester.
Something like that, right? And then none of us gave the parts. So he did not allow us to enter the lab. So he said, all of you go back. And then the next class was horror. He said, he came and, basically just, told all of us, like, you guys didn't follow the instructions. So we'll get poor grades. So I remember that. And then from the next time we started, giving the parts beforehand. There used to be a lady to whom you have to go and give the parts, right? So that was one thing. Another thing from third semester, I don't know how many remember, like we had a C programming class. Introduction to C programming. That was by K.C. Krishnamurthy, who was from computer science. I vividly remember, I believe it was Karthik and me, we were sitting in this lab in Octagon and we were programming and he was there, right? It used to be the room on the right-hand side. As soon as you enter, there used to be like one big room with 20, 30 computers. And then we were programming and trying things out. And he came and he was chatting. And then finally he said, what really matters to me? Like, what do your class girls think about my teaching? And it's like, what? That was literally his question.
Seriously?
I still remember. Like, what do the girls think about my teaching? It's like, we don't know.
Who asked you that?
RC? No, sorry, Casey?
Casey, yeah.
Wow, all this comes out 25 years later.
Somehow I just vaguely remember that. That was a very funny thing that Karthik and I used to make like fun. This guy doesn't care like what we think about his teaching. But he wants to know.
I think it was consensus that he's a bit of an idiot.
So, hey guys, on that note, what you think of teachers or whatever? Remember we had some class, Miss Josephine, or what was her name?
Olive Jesudas?
Olive Jesudas.
I think every teacher was unique in their style. Yeah, Olive, Renuka, Palanchani, I don't know.
So it was the first exam regarding something we read about rocket and all the stuff, and we all had very bad score. So she called me and Bansal in our office and asked us, I have a very serious question for two of you, and that's why I asked you to stop by. Sure. And she goes, I mean, she was new to us, to REC. She said, I've heard that you guys are amazing, this and that, but the whole class didn't perform well. Am I doing something wrong? And she was very serious. And I was like, oh my God, I know the answer to this question. How do I answer her? And she went on and on and on. I said, ma'am, I'll tell you the answer. Please make sure your exam is not the day after India-Pakistan cricket match. That's what went wrong. And she could not believe it. She thought I was joking. I was like, I'm not joking. It was the truth. And she goes, okay, thanks, bye.
I also have a memory of her. I mean, in one of her exams, something happened. Nalin and me went for a movie the day before exam. Okay. And something happened and we both got 10 or something. And she started setting papers very easy after the first semester class 2. So we both got 10, 30, the cycle test, right?
Oh, okay.
And the next highest mark was 25 in the class. I mean, next lowest, sorry, was 25. So she calls both of us to her room and asks the same question. I mean, am I doing something wrong? How did you guys manage to get 10 when everybody else has 25 in the class? So yeah, she had that habit. She had that habit of calling people.
Yeah, she probably decided that she could not change India-Pakistan match schedule so she can make the exams easier. So she was smart.
I don't think we girls ever got called, right?
Well, I also didn't get called anywhere by anybody. So
either I'm blanking or we never got called into.
Somehow hearing all of this, I feel like I was in a different universe at that time. But really no memories from that time.
It's the art of flying below the radar, right? Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail. So
maybe I succeeded all the time. So
I have a fun memory. I don't have an ECE memory, but I have a fun memory of ECE kids, actually. So Chandu's gonna, go off camera, so heads up, because I'm gonna embarrass her a little bit. My memory, one of the few memories I have of ECE days is Chandrika and I, during one of the breaks between classes, were like, let's go get some water. So we went to the water cooler, in the ECE, we're like grabbing water. Ravi shows up all of a sudden, right? And he's actually, if I recall, he wasn't doing anything. He was just standing behind us to get water. Chandrika fills her cup of water for some strange reason. And at that time, this was the first inkling I had that something is going on. She takes the cup of water, turns around and throws it on Ravi's face. I don't know how many of you know this, if Ravi's ever shared this with anybody.
No.
It was like, Chandrika, I know. And Ravi just kind of shrugged it off and walked away.
Wow.
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 That's the
Then we
question
meet
to ask
Chandrika
him
quite a
now.
lot.
Since he's in Hyderabad, I can just meet him.
Right.
Ask him the question. What happened there? We just heard it on a podcast. So, Chandrika, any response to that? What was going on in your mind?
Yes, we
you
want
know,
to know now.
I did it. I remember doing it. I don't remember much else about it.
Great.
Okay, I have another fun memory. Okay, there was a digital lab, right, where we were giving circuits and we were supposed to finish. Was it RC, right? I don't have that good memory, but I have this memory. So this was this circuit which was given
Not
by him.
Somashekhar, I forgot again. Somebody
No, the one who had
Somaskaran,
Somsky, right?
No,
Kandan.
Somas Kandan was the name, not Somsekhar.
Somsky, yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about the teacher who had a little issue with the speech.
Oh, that's RC.
RC,
That is Chinadurai, RC. Yeah, that is RC.
So I remember RC. So what happened was he gave us the circuit, and the circuit never gave the results which was supposed to get finished. So we went on and on and on and on. And guess what? In the last exam, like in the exam day, and he said, "Oh, just next week, keep trying." And we kept trying. Anu, you might remember, you were my lab partner, right? And so in the exam, guess what? Same circuit came, and roll number 1, Kachru, Anu, Aarti, and some of us, there were only 6, 8, something like that in the first class batch in the morning. Same exam came. And I was like, oh my God, this result will not come. I know that. So I started picking up the circuit. There were 2 breadboards, all the wires, everything. Somehow I remember 5 volts was supposed to come out from this output, which never would, right? And it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes left. And I looked around, Anu was probably crying. Akachuru was like this. Everyone was like, all of us were. So what I did was, overachiever Anu, listen to this. So what I did was the whole circuit was rigged up. And then I basically simply short circuit 5 volts to all the way output 5 volts, all the way through. Like
you
fire.
cheated.
Okay, overachiever. Don't call cheating. So then between the 2 breadboards, I put intentionally the wire like this and put my finger under it. And then I waited for exactly 1 minute left before the exam and called Palna Swami. He was the one who was our,
Palaniswamy or?
Yeah. So I was looking at
Palaniswamy.
So this is what I did. I did 1 minute. I said, sir, done. He comes over, 40 seconds left. And then my eyes were literally watching his iris. That what he's looking at. And my whole moment was the moment he will look at this point, I'll just pull it up. And I never cheated. Sorry. And he never, and the timing was that because everyone else will say done, done, done. So luckily he didn't get to that line of circuit, the cheating part. And I got 5 out of 5 volts. Guess what happened? After 2 weeks, RC called me in his office. He goes, Palna Swami, stupid guy, right? I said, I don't know, sir. Because he didn't know that what you did. I said, I don't know, sir, what I did. I know what you did. I was like, okay, so sorry.
How did he know?
Because so he told me very clearly that the circuit was never supposed to give you 5 volts. The reason I gave you that circuit was I knew the circuit is wrong, and I wanted you to bang your head all your semester to figure it out.
It was a trap.
It was a trap. And he explained me, he says, if the circuit I gave you, you would have done it in 10th grade, 9th grade, didn't you? I said, yes, sir, we all did that. So what's the point? What are you doing engineering for? So we actually, Dino, if you remember, I spent a lot of time with you trying to understand how diodes work. And we went behind the curtains to try to debug that stupid circuit, which was actually a trap. Not for me. I got 5 volts.
My memory, and you can see the overachiever Amit. Like I had 2 Amits with me. So I was always in labs with Amit and Amit Kachru. So it used to be like literally, he's not kidding. I used to be crying. No, but Amit has carried a lot of weight. You know, all our labs, I think I passed probably because of the 2 of them.
Yeah, Kachru and I were always like, Anu, Aarti, can you please stay back? That's sorry, Anu. Sorry, I did that. Could not control us.
Thank you.
See, lab memories, I don't think you can beat me either, right? My lab partners used to be either of the 2 gentlemen, either this guy sitting here, Dinesh, Dino, or it used to be Ashwin DeCosta. Okay. I don't know what have I done in my past life, right? This branch topper or second ranker are my partners. Okay. Now, anything that Palanichami, RC, Somsky, anybody asks, these guys have an answer. And I am somehow, I do my bit for the circuit and getting the output, but somehow these questions come, I am blank. And this continued with me for 3 years. So those who are complaining about lab partner, just think about a minute for my situation, what I had to go through. But I know, yeah, you helped me a lot. You tried to save me from Palanichami a lot of times, I know. The Palanichami, his problem was like, he will ask a question, and if I cannot answer, he will make a sarcastic comment in Tamil. And I know after the class, we will translate and tell me what he told me.
I don't remember that comments, but yeah, he did.
I know. So was the comment from Palaniswamy bad, or the translation from Dino that hurt you the most?
Dino had the complete freedom to say whatever he wanted to say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could totally mess Deba out.
Arjun, you were trying to say
Arjun
something.
was saying something.
Yeah.
No, we were Arun, me, and Aarti Annie were partners. So Arun and I would do everything, and she would not participate in anything or say anything actually. So after a long time, I think it was the 4th semester or something, suddenly one day she said, "Can you teach me what you're doing?" And then we said no.
Oh man, you target.
No, sorry.
Great. So what I've realized is,
I remember especially labs and Arjun, even before labs, you remember Anbumani? He was kind of finishing up his ME. I think he started power electronics. I remember him struggling on the board, right? He would go to the board and he would write, and he would think for he'll then look around and say, thyristor, and then he'll look, and then Arjun will ask him a question, right? In the middle of the class, Arjun will ask him a question. The guy will be stunned, and he'll go back to the beginning. He'll again start from the beginning, and he'll tell everything again. And this used to happen in the lab too. So the vivas, which I also sent in the chat. So because Arjun and I used to pretty much take the vivas at the same time after the exam. He would ask Arjun a question, and Arjun will just take off, right? He's going at like 100 miles per hour. And Anbumani can't follow Arjun, right? So he's like, after 2 minutes, he stops. It's like, stop, Arjun. Are you telling this or that? And then he will give both answers, right? And then Arjun, sir, what I'm telling is, and then he'll go on again for 1 more minute. Then he will himself tell the answer and give marks to Arjun.